Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
We're here in the Cabana Room at Hydra Restaurant, where we love to film.
We do. We also like to show you the show, which we'll get to right after you watch this. Our next guest is a singer, songwriter, producer, recording engineer. He does it all. A new single called Better. Here's a peek.
Oh, I'm trying to hold on forever, 'cause when I hold you, oh, nothing feels better.
Well, there you go. And here he is in the studio with us for the first time. Sean Thomas, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's really nice to be here.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. What a great story you have. We were teasing you before we got on camera about just the amount of talent you have. This is not fair at your age. You're 24. But in all seriousness, you really are a guy that steps into the studio almost old school and says, not egotistically, but I'm going to do everything. And your new single is a testament to that. As someone said, you really know every inch of the studio. How does that happen?
I like that a lot. And yeah, I mean, it just comes from a passion, I think, of wanting to learn everything about what you like doing. And for music, that just revolves around everything. I love songwriting, I love playing instruments, I love producing, mixing. Every part of the process, I find it kind of feeds into itself. You can learn from, mixing, and then that makes you a better songwriter.
Yeah.
Everything's kind of intertwined. So yeah, it's really nice to be a part of the whole kind of process, and then getting to work with all these other amazing musicians too. It all feeds in itself.
Well, let's talk about some of the things you've done now. You graduate from the Berklee College of Music. That's no small school at just 20. And then cut to Debbie Gibson, who people my age grew up with, and she's out there still knocking it out. You end up producing her first album in a couple decades. And then you take over, and I want to get this right, you're her music director during her Las Vegas residency, and again, you're 20.
Yes, I mean, I'm very fortunate to have met her. I met her actually here in Vancouver on the set of a Hallmark movie she was doing.
Yeah.
I played the music student, and she was the music teacher, so it just kind of worked out perfectly. And I think I was 16 when I met her, and we're going on 10 years now of an amazing relationship and friendship and professional kind of situation, working on all these albums. And man, she's taught me so much, and I'm very grateful for everything we've worked on.
What is great too is that you're getting to see somebody who was about your age when I was as a DJ in the 80s playing her music. And here she is all these years later. That must be very inspirational to someone who was her age then, now.
It's very inspiring, and I try to pick her brain as much as I can about all these stories and lessons she has, because it's not often where you get to do a job and learn from somebody where you can kind of ask somebody who's walked in the exact same footsteps. So yeah, definitely. You
mentioned off camera that one of the things that you are grateful for and a gift for is that you've got perfect pitch.
Yes.
When do you realize that? I mean, how does someone realize that they have that?
I was probably 6 or 7 years old. I was in choir for about 10 years, but this was kind of the early phase of that. And my choir director, after one of the classes, came up to my parents, and he was all giddy, and he's like, "Do you know what your son has?" And my dad, I think he was picking me up at the time, he's like, "No." He's like, "He has perfect pitch." And my dad was like, "What's that?"
Well, I was going to say, you're not guilty, viewers, if you're going, is that a good thing? Is that a noticeable thing?
Yeah, I mean, it just means any note that I hear in the world, I just instantly know what it is. Like, it's just a D. And it's kind of, I describe it like just seeing color. Like, this table is brown, or this water is clear or white. It's just as simple as that in my mind.
Are you coming from a musical background? I mean, your parents, again, I always like to ask people like you, what are you hearing, seeing, listening to, what have you, that makes you say, I think I got talent for that?
Yeah, no, all my brother's amazing, my parents are awesome, but music isn't their strong suit, I think.
Okay.
I don't know where I got it from, but just ever since I was young, I just wanted to pursue this, and I've just been working at it since as long as I can remember.
Going back to your single, which again we're looking at right now, talk about the work again, because you take it from the ground, from the beginning to the end. There's a core, like I should say, or a choir-like element. Mm-hmm. Are you creating that? Are you hearing that? I mean, because it is the depth of that.
Definitely. I mean, the way I personally start my songs when it's just a song that I know I'm going to be writing and finishing for myself is I'll write it completely acoustically and keep it that way, like as long as I can. So,
Right.
for example, this one was written completely on an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm just hammering away at the lyrics and melodies until it feels right to me. And then there's kind of a moment where everything clicks, and then I just hear the finished song in my head.
Wow.
And then it's just about getting it to the finish line at that point. And then, I mean, the choir was a really fun part. I set up 2 microphones in my studio.
Yeah.
And I just acted like a choir, going from the left side to the right side of the room, just in different voices and, yeah, putting accents on. And,
Would it be, I'm going to plain speak this as kind of a musical idiot, but is it basically trying to keep your song as bare and minimal as long as you can until that is perfected?
Yes.
And then you add the layers?
Definitely. I mean, one piece of advice that I've gotten from all these people that I've been fortunate enough to work with is just to make sure it feels good acoustically before you kind of add all these bells and whistles. So that's been my approach ever since I kind of first started.
Is there kind of a negotiation when you sit down with people like Debbie Gibson or New Kids or other people, just to kind of see whether you can blend and groove together?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the negotiation kind of comes from the first collaboration, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
And from there, you can see the output, and then you go from there. And I think a lot of the times people are kind of worried about not getting it on the first try or something like that. But I think a relationship like that just takes a while to form, and then you kind of develop a shorthand. And it's just kind of like, again, learning a language. You just have to learn to speak that specific person and their melodies and their songs and their ideas. And once you kind of have an understanding of their brain, then it's a lot easier to kind of bring that out of them.
That is very cool. Who are you, as you rise up the ladder and you get older, who out there right now would you love to work with?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, sticking kind of here, there's like Michael Bublé, who's a big Vancouver person.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, Ed Sheeran, John Mayer. Those are kind of the top people for me right now.
And a good cross section too,
Yeah,
which is great.
No, definitely.
Again, some of the other stuff you've got out, your previous single, She's Mine, What Could Have Been, just great tracks. I commend you for that. I know there are people out there that are going to be listening to your music and saying, okay, when can I see this guy? Is this guy touring? Can we get something going? Any tidbits, teases you can give us in terms of
I mean, I'm really
live?
excited. This year's a big year for me in terms of releasing music and just kind of getting my own name out there. And I'm definitely exploring a lot of live opportunities right now. So stay tuned for future announcements. But I will say Joey McIntyre is coming to Vancouver. We're doing a little bit of a Pacific Northwest run of shows. So I mean, Franklin Studios on, I think it's May 1st if they're free and want to come out.
This is great stuff. It's been such a pleasure having you on. I love talking to artists who have all different hats in their arsenal. That certainly will add to longevity. We can continue success. This is great stuff, Sean.
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. The new single is called Better. You can also check out SeanThomasOfficial.com. That's where you can find out more information about Sean, our latest guest here on Our City Tonight. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you for having me.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
Hey, just a reminder to check out the print digital version of Our City Tonight in the latest edition of Iconic Concierge magazine.
Yeah, we love partnering with this great luxury magazine. You can find it pretty much where?
Oh, everywhere. Luxury hotels, great bars. It's everywhere. It's a good-looking magazine. We're proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, and the actual column in Iconic Concierge magazine is a little taste of what Our City Tonight is doing out and about in our city.
That's right. Check out the latest edition. It's available now.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying the show. We just wanted to take a little break here and remind you to check out our website at ourcitytonighttv.com. That's where you can check out extended versions of these segments in podcasts, as well as check out our YouTube channels. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now back to the show. Our next guest appeared on the show several years ago to share her beautiful artwork. Laura Harper, owner of Adlea's Art, has been drawing animals her whole life. In fact, she captures the true essence and personality of her subjects through very different art mediums. Laura is also a certified dog trainer, and I want to welcome Laura Harper back to our city tonight.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to be joining you.
Oh, I'm so glad. I caught a glimpse of some of your new art, which is, we're going to talk about that too, affiliated with your new passion. But your art business, we're going to share with our audience again, it started as a hobby. And I want to know again, to share with our audience, the evolution of Edlea's art since 2016.
Yeah, so it was a bit of an interesting story because I had always been drawing animals and dabbled in sort of portraits and whatnot, but I'd never charged for them. And when I was in a job interview, they asked me what my hobbies were. And I said, well, I draw animals. And they go, oh, do you do portraits? And I said, no. And that was the first idea I had of, okay, maybe I can actually make some money off of this. And so my first test was a friend of mine who had 2 cats. And I said, I'll draw you this portrait and you can take me out for lunch. And she said, okay, the lunch will be how much I like the portrait. So if it's really bad, it'll be like McDonald's or something, fast food. And if it's really good, I'll take you somewhere nice. And so she ended up taking me somewhere nice. And from there, my style has evolved. So I started off doing ink portraits with some splashes of watercolor, and then into more realistic portraits with colored pencils and pastels. And now I've continued to do that as well as some digital art.
Yeah, I saw your digital art. I want to take a moment just about your realistic artwork for the wild animals, the pencil crayon. They basically jump right out of, onto this, onto the screen. They've got the spiders and the snakes. I mean, they're beautiful, but kind of scary. We're going to jump into your recent passion, the affiliation with Losing Lulu. And I want you to share why you got involved with this. And now you're such a big part of the organization.
Yeah, so Losing Lulu, I'm affiliated with it in 2 ways. So I do work for the organization that founded Losing Lulu. So Losing Lulu is a grief support group for anybody who's been impacted by the effects of behavioral euthanasia of an animal of any species. So that's things like dogs that are put down for aggressive behavior, for anxiety, horses that have behavior. We've had llamas and snakes and, all kinds of different animals. And my own journey with what we call our Lulus. So a Lulu is an animal who's been euthanized due to behavior. My dog, Gabby, a bit of a different type of Lulu, where she got elderly. So she got to be about 12 years old and experienced a fairly sharp cognitive decline. So she was starting to have panic attacks. She didn't recognize certain people, and then she'd remember who they were. And this went on, and everything, we managed it. It was fine until she started reacting somewhat aggressively to people and dogs that she knew very, very well, including me. And so that was the point where I said, she's not present, she's not enjoying her life, and she's not safe anymore. So, she did live a good, full life. She was an amazing dog, but she was ready to go. And that's sort of my journey into the world of behavioral euthanasia. And when we started putting on the summit, so there's an upcoming summit, the very first Losing Lulu summit is coming up in April. I wanted to find a way to give back to the organization, and I was able to do that through my art. So that's how it kind of all evolved and became connected.
Wonderful. Now, so members, I was on your website, the Losing Lulu, they received one of your beautiful postcards, your digital stained glass.
So certain person, so because the summit is free, we want it to be as accessible to everybody as possible. We, of course, are relying on sponsors to fund the software and the administrative work and give our speakers honoraria, which means we need sponsors. So my contribution as the artist partner is to provide sort of rewards for certain sponsor tiers. So at certain amounts and above, you will get some of my art. Depending on which level, you'll either get what we call coping cards or grief cards. or my stained glass portraits, which are custom to your animal.
Wonderful. Now, veering off a little bit as we close up here, you're also a certified dog trainer. I was fascinated the fact that you're doing some scent detection, because that's been all over the internet. Those really specialized dogs that can sniff out a grain of rice in a pond. Tell us a little bit about that as we wrap up.
Yeah, so my dog Zero, he is my service partner, so he's a service animal, as well as my sport dog, and his big sport is scent detection. And so it's basically, there are essential oils that are hidden around a room, and your dog has to find them. You don't know where they are, and the dog has to tell you when they found them. And I think Zero really took to this sport because of the service work. A lot of service dog work is based on smells and then telling the owner to do something when they smell a certain chemical. So he already does that in his day-to-day life. So when I just put it into scent detection, he's like, yeah, I can do that, no problem. And he's done very, very well in the sport, and it's a blast, and he really enjoys it. So that's one of our passions for sure.
Well, it's definitely been used. They're using in crime scenes, and it really is a fascinating. I know you're involved as a sport, but it's fascinating.
Yeah, sport is based off of the detection dog, so it's meant to mimic the sort of finding the drugs. And so when my friend and I work our dogs, we often go to pet friendly stores and hide scents, and we say we're finding bombs in the store, because that's kind of the the theory behind the sport for sure.
Wonderful. Well, we thank you for being on the show again. Now, we won't wait as many years next time. We're going to show your website up on the screen here, and you're continuously doing, this is a full-time occupation now, you're drawing. It's absolutely gorgeous work. And thank you, Laura, for being back on the show, and good luck with the Lulu Summit. That's Losing Lulu Summit. That is a wonderful organization to be a part of.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure, and I'm always happy to come back.
Thanks, Laura.
Well, taking a little break from the show, just a reminder to check out all the great stuff online and in the magazines with our partners, the Richmond Sentinel.
Yes, we do all kinds of interviews, and we also do a little kind of hot sheet
We do.
in the Sentinel. So it's a lot of fun, some of the things that we've discovered over the last month.
It's a great publication, and you can also find some of the segments that we do, longer versions. They're on the Sentinel website. It's richmondsentinel.ca. Now, back to the show.
Some promotional considerations provided by Star Wild Domes. Luxury in nature, transforming outdoor spaces into extraordinary destinations. For more information, go to starwilddomes.com.
Well, I find myself in a very popular restaurant here in town called Cochillo. For you watching in the rest of the country, we are just east of Gastown in an area called Railtown, also known as Old Japantown, right in the Powell Street and Gore Street area, a very popular restaurant. It ties in perfectly, it being Old Japantown historically, because we're here for another segment to talk cocktails and a little more about Japan's Choya brand. If you're a regular viewer, of course, you recognize the brand, the cocktails. We'd like to check out some of the great restaurants and bars in town where you will find their great cocktails. You can also make them at home. Joining me now, this is great for us because he's only in town for a few days. It's a great pleasure to welcome, the president and CEO of Choya, Mr. Sanjiro Kondo is joining us. Sir, welcome to Vancouver and to this restaurant, Cochillo.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's great to have you. I know you're on a bit of a whirlwind trip. You're in Vancouver for a couple of days, but you also were just in Munich and a couple other destinations. Tell us about what you were doing and how it ties in with the Choya brand.
By chance, I came here from just Germany, and we had a trade show in Düsseldorf, where just my subsidiary, one of the subsidiaries are located.
Okay, yeah.
And And coming here just through Incheon Airport and to Vancouver right now. Yeah.
And you're only here for a couple days, so we were lucky to catch you to talk more about the brand. What do you? One of the things I've talked to people from Choi a lot on this show, including your colleague Shinji, is how more and more popular the Choya brand is becoming here in our city and across the country. What do you hear when you go to these trade shows from people who love the brand?
Yeah, I think they're in Europe more conservative, but this Canadian people just much more open-minded and really we are happy to be here to brand Choya here.
Yeah.
And Shinji is doing very good job right now. And getting into so many bars and restaurants and some related shops.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, Shinji's been on our show a few times. Recently, last month, he was on our show. And he said the same thing about how that Vancouver is very popular for Choya, more opening. We're going to talk cocktails here at this great location in a few seconds. Tell our viewers a bit more, as we always like to do, about the Choya history. Now, this is a family that began, it was like a farm situation in 1914, and then in the late 50s, they put their focus somewhere else. You pick it up from there.
Yeah. Actually, my company was founded by my grandfather, and actually, third generation was president. Company, family members, but ahead of me, two uncles are taking presidency.
So just family members have...
Family members, and that's why I'm fifth, the CEO of the company. And we started as winery, but my grandfather worried about the future of his kids, how they can execute the company as a winery, because wine was not so stable product in Japan.
Right.
That's why I look for more traditional and more product which have more possibility in the future. And that's why we try to find many product categories.
Right.
And eventually we reached Japanese traditional fruit liqueur.
Anyway, listen, I thank you for being here, sir. I hope your time in Vancouver has been wonderful, and we've been talking about Choya and cocktails. One of the reasons we are here at Kuchiyo is to sample some cocktails with the Choya brand, and we're going to do that right now. Okay, well, from the Choya brand to actual cocktails made with Choya, I'm joined by the bar manager here at Kuchiyo, Coulter, who has created 3 great-looking cocktails. First of all, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You are quite welcome. Okay, we're going to jump right in. I want to hear about this cocktail right here. What is it called, and when can I taste it?
So this one's called the Plum Funked. It's a it's a cocktail with the Choya 23 we have here. The name's a little bit of a pun on, or not a pun, just directly pointing out that it's a plum liqueur, which is really cool. It's a plum spirit with a butterfly pea flower and honey syrup. Bring out those really floral notes because plum is a flower-bearing plant. Then we've also got a little bit of tequila in there. We're a Latin American restaurant, so we use a lot of agave spirits in our cocktails here. And then there's a little bit of a mist on top of just some lavender bitters with a really funky mezcal. It's a super long ferment on it, kind of gives it that blue cheese aroma, and it gives it a nice little kick, a little, surprising flavor, a little bit of funk.
Well, it gave me a surprise and a kick. Excellent. That's what I wanted to drink. Now, this is on your menu now, yeah?
Yeah, we have that one on our menu now as a little feature. I like to use Japanese spirits from time to time in our menu. We usually focus on different Latin American spirits, whether it's tequila, mezcal, cachaça, pisco. But since we are located in Japantown, I feel like it's fun to kind of swap it up a little bit and bring a little stuff, whether it's local spirits or spirits like these that are a little bit closer to home in sense of the neighborhood we're in.
You really diversified with the cocktails here. This is something very different. Tell us about this one.
So this is the green tea martini. Nothing too crazy there, but this really cool umeshu with this high quality Japanese green tea in it, I thought would make a cool gin martini. I like my martinis dry, and with this gin that we have, which is also a locally made gin, it's very citrus forward, very bright, and I thought that would just accompany some of this green tea umeshu well.
Okay, excellent. I like my martini gin. Gin martinis dry as well. I like dust around the glass. Oh, that's a nice combination.
Yeah, the green tea dryness just works really well.
Fantastic.
Wow. And I thought there was just a little little bit of a twist on a classic that's not too far from home, so people can be
That's
familiar
the
with
thing,
that.
isn't it? Is that all you experts, and we have them on the show all the time, you guys like you, is it that you want to make sure you're creative, but you don't want to get too far away from the origins of what the drink is, right?
Yeah. If you're putting more than like 3 ingredients in a martini, it's kind of, well, I call it a martini anymore. It's, overcomplicating things.
Okay. This last drink, you mentioned to me, you're very good friends with Zoe, who was on the show recently with a choice segment at her place, Ellipsis.
Yeah.
This was featured at Cocktail Week back in February. Tell us about this drink. It's kind of an homage to her. You wanted to put this up.
Yeah, Jim, that's right. This is called the Soft Center. It's inspired by when you warm up a cinnamon roll in the microwave. There's a warm top made of this sweetened cream on top, and then the cinnamon syrup with the brown sugar meishu and some whiskey. My friend Zoe came up with this one for Vancouver Cocktail Week a few weeks back. Right now she's competing in the world-class bartender competition, so good luck to Zoe.
Hey, tell us about this great restaurant. A lot of great reviews, loyal fan base. People love coming here. It's a great spot too. It looks great. Tell us about what people can expect when they come here.
Well, Cuchillo is a great spot. I love working here. This restaurant's been here for almost 14 years. We're a Latin American-inspired tapas restaurant, so this is a really great spot to bring large groups. We do great family-style tasting menus, and also, I do the cocktail program here, and I think it's pretty cool, but the kitchen kills it all the time, so what you can expect when you come here is to have a great meal with your friends and family and leave stuffed and trying out either some cool Latin American spirits or some of these cool cocktails that I'm able to whip together for you.
Beautiful. Coulter, first time on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck going forward, and thanks to our friends at Choya for this edition on Our City Tonight.
All right, places, everyone. Let's get this shot before the rain picks up. Quiet on the set. Roll camera.
While I'm flying solo in this version of our movie reviews, the first movie we're going to talk about involves teachers. Now, everybody pretty much has a teacher they grew up with that really made a difference in their life. This movie is all about that. It's the story of Richard Burton, one of the great actors of the 20th century. Back in World War II in a small Welsh coal mining town, Richard Burton is then young Richard Jenkins. He's living through a broken home with interest in rugby, not acting. But then he comes under the mentorship of a teacher named Philip Burton. Philip Burton sees raw acting talent in young Richard Jenkins and takes him under his wing, becomes his mentor, and eventually his guardian. He becomes Richard Burton. Now, this story is a fantastic film about Richard Jenkins becoming Richard Burton and what a difference Philip Burton, his teacher, made in his life. We should mention that Richard Burton is played by an actor named Harry Lawty, who was in Industry and Joker, the latest film. The part of Philip Burton is played by Toby Jones, the brilliant actor, and it is also involves Leslie Manville, the equally gifted actress. She plays Philip Burton's landlord, Ma Smith. This is a wonderful, wonderful film, and boy, it really shows what one individual can do to help out a young man. And Richard Burton has said many times in his life that without Philip Burton, I would be nothing. This is available for home viewing. It's called Mr. Burton, and look for it now. Big thumbs up from me. Now on to our final film, a movie that most people would know. Has it really been 30 years since Tom Cruise screamed, "Show me the money," or said tenderly, "You complete me"? That is right. It is 30 years old, Jerry Maguire, and it's available now in theaters. If you miss it, though, you can, of course, find it on home viewing. This was a real interesting step for Tom Cruise back in 1996, and the movie did very, very well. It's a romantic sports comedy drama. That's why it had something for everybody, and that's why it did so well. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the movie, Cruise plays Jerry Maguire, a top agent in the sports world. He has all the biggest clients, riches beyond his dreams, and a beautiful fiancée who's also in the same business. But when he has a crisis of conscience, he writes a heartfelt mission statement that goes company-wide. Everyone likes the mission statement, but he's eventually fired. He's left with one low-level client and one low-level former colleague who likes what he wrote. This film is all about redemption, about rebuilding your life professionally and personally while also recovering your integrity and your honor. This solidified Cameron Crowe as a writer-director. It received 5 Oscar nominations, and it won a Best Supporting Award for Cuba Gooding Jr. It also made a star overnight, it seems, of Renee Zellweger. Look for Jerry Maguire now. It really is a wonderful film, and it's, of course, celebrating its 30th anniversary. It also is available for home viewing. That's this edition of Movie Reviews.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, thanks for watching, but it is time to say goodbye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd love you to do that at our website, ourcitytonighttv.com. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Visit ourcitytonighttv.com for all the latest episodes, segments, and our new podcast. And please be sure to like and subscribe.
The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.